He said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Was ever a dream? Darn.
Hi, I'm Ubong Matthew, founder of An Hour with a Manager. This platform was created to solve a real challenge we saw across African professional spaces, which is the gap between ambition and structured leadership. Because a better manager will build a better Africa, and the world needs both.
Welcome to another episode of An Hour with the Manager. And today's episode, we just want to briefly talk about wellness. But before I get everyone back into the conversation, I want to share a personal experience from my travel time. I'm talking about a colleague who was sharing with me in regards to managing a project, because that was the project I was actually managing. And they were sharing some of their challenges with regards to, speaking to teams, trying to meet up with a hustle culture in the sense that you're trying to meet up with your boss, trying to meet expectations, and even at the expense of your health. But that also brought us to, bringing this into the conversation of An Hour with the Manager podcast. And in Nigeria today, this is a very, very big issue which a lot of people overlook. But today's conversation with our very esteemed guest, Patrick, is going to share much of these insights. And trust me, Patrick is not a new person to An Hour with the Manager podcast. He's been on our guest in 2024. We had a very in-depth conversation, which a lot of you have been watching and you've been engaging on that. And today, we're going to engage more about and answer some of those questions which you've asked from the previous conversation and also right into 2026. I want to say thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us back on An Hour with the Manager show. And it's good to always have you at every point in time.
Thank you. It's a privilege and it's a delight to have this space to share. And I consider myself tremendously blessed in the journey of understanding this concept of wellness.
Journey and background. Extremely fortunate. Certainly one with a silver spoon. Parents who are educated and rose up in the civil service rapidly in the 1960s, 70s. And so education for us was the norm, the expectation, high expectation. After primary school at Corona, in Victoria Island, secondary school, Valende, St. Gregory's College, I was privileged to sent abroad for my parents. Yes, sent abroad. Didn't have a choice in the matter. I said, yes, sir. I was off to the US. Did the first degree in chemistry, focusing more on analytical chemistry. Moved on from there to another first degree in pharmacy. So I'm a pharmacist. Completed that program and opted to continue on into medical school, all in the US. Undergrad chemistry was George University, Washington, D.C. Pharmacy school was Howard University, Washington, D.C. Medical school was the same, Howard University, Washington, D.C. Finished that program and was very privileged to go on to Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore for specialty training in internal medicine. Really good training ground. Upon that, I moved down to Florida to escape the cold weather and the snow. While I was there, I realized that neighbors doctors didn't have quite the business sense. So I went on to the MBA, an executive MBA at the University of South Florida in Tampa. In that program, began to practice, built 5 clinics in Central Florida. A lot of experience in doing so. And at some point, the word came that it was time to go back to Nigeria. And here we are. Got back home. Initially worked for an HMO, Salus Trust, traveled all over the country, so many towns, because it's owned by the Catholic Church. The church had about over 300 facilities, healthcare facilities all over Nigeria. So I traveled, you name it, north, south, east, and west. Again, that was baptism by fire. I got to see Nigeria's healthcare in its best and its worst scenarios.
How did that journey transform your entire experience with wellness setup?
It was definitely transformative. It became very, very clear that our current journey was one that was causing us many of our ailments. Our current journey in terms of nutrition, in terms of lifestyle, we had abandoned the wisdom of our elders in terms of what they ate and what they did daily to adopt a routine that was foreign to us, especially the nutritional component. And as a result, we're paying some sad consequences with ailments that are really foreign to us and that are definitely
linked to our nutrition, our lifestyle, and even our mindset, and to some degree, the environment. So yes, that journey through Nigeria was a wake-up to understand many of our ailments were tied to these pillars, which we now call the pillars of wellness, which is the core of our practice.
Yeah. And just taking to the conversation of today, right, talking about wellness, there's this hype that's going on across organizations and industries. Let me call it, it's powered by the Gen Zs, right, whereby employees or organizations are really becoming very, very intentional. Youth are really becoming very, very intentional about their health. Right. So far, how have you seen this rise in preventive health process? How is it really engaging, and how is that rise affecting both organizations and even businesses itself? Most especially the employees who have more, who fall into most of this factor.
It's both a plus and a minus. A plus in that employers and employees are becoming more aware of health issues, of how to be more towards wellness. A minus in that, because it's becoming like a trend, like a commercial trend, everyone is starting a wellness center, but the core understanding of wellness is absent. And so you're giving half measures to the clients that you're taking care of, whether it's an employee or an employer. For instance, in our clarity, we define wellness as a starting point, as God's gift to all of us, his children. We're very clear that wellness is what God created. And if you doubt it, just pause for a moment and think. You woke up this morning. What happened to your heart while you were sleeping? It was beating, wasn't it?
Yes.
If it did not beat, you wouldn't be here this morning.
Yes.
But you were asleep. You were unconscious. Or you were somewhere in a different zone from consciousness. That's because there's already a programming in place. There's already a perfect system in place that processes the blood, that pumps the blood, processes the food through the bowels, and the blood through the kidneys, even when you are asleep.
Okay.
There's already a perfect system in place. If you doubt it, let's go further. A woman is pregnant. She gets to 8 months plus, starts having contractions. What triggered the contractions? You throw a few seeds of tomatoes into the soil. Come back in a few weeks, there's germination.
Yeah.
So you have to come to this first understanding that, listen, there's already a system in place, and it's a perfect system that knows what to do. Exactly. That's the fundamental of wellness.
And what's this system? The question really lies on trying to understand this. When we say natural things, that's always the question, because for employees who really want to, really get on board with their boss, this is like a real thing that happens to them. Right, and they want to be intentional about it, but at the same time, try to satisfy the people you're working with at the same time, right? So it's like you're trying to size up two things and see which one you want to keep a balance. Should I keep my mental health and work and stop at a certain time, or maybe just overstretch it? But I think you these days are not really compromising so much about that.
Statistically, when you look globally, studies on folks who live long, who have least health problems, there's some very clear facts. Whether they're in Japan, they're in South America, Northern Italy, even in Lima Linda, California, and this happened to be what we call the blue zones, amongst others. Those who live close to the natural order are healthier, live longer. Those who stray away from the nature or the order tend to have more health problems, be sicker, and exit sooner. I say return to sender. No matter how you want to skin the cat, whether you're a corporate employee or corporate leader, the further you stray away from nature's design, the sicker your employees will be, the more you will pay for your healthcare expenditure, whether it's locally or internationally. And the more you fall into the illusion that synthetics and chemicals and pharmaceuticals are the way to go. Illusion. The body is of nature. Get back to nature, health and wellness will be abundantly yours.
From your experience, right, what are some of these challenges you've seen that really face most really affecting organizations, right? Maybe from the way they operate or from the activity, from their timelines of activities. Yes, they want to set tasks. They want to meet up with goals. Like you have your own organization, like Carib Health, for instance, right? These are things that need to happen in place for the business itself to go. But there are also people who are pioneering this business. What are some of those challenges you think that come in day to day? I think if being adjusted right, it can really, transform a lot of things.
Okay. You've asked about 3 questions. Truly, the business owner, be it the investor or the CEO, management team, the employees, they're all humans. They all have the same basic human needs. They're all part of nature. Yes, you're the CEO, you work 20 hours a day, sleep 2-3 hours at night. At some point, you start to pay a price. You start to see the bottles of pills on your table for high blood pressure, for diabetes, for sleep, for anxiety, for asthma, for pain. The employee whom you have put the schedule and the routines, if they're not able to maintain their health and wellness, there's a price you end up paying. The health bills, the HMO bills. And some of them have to be flown abroad for care when things get really bad. We see a lot of executives today with cancer. They're coming in with stage 3, stage 4. We see a lot of what you call high-driving employees coming in with health issues. And when those health issues show up, you have to stop. You have to pause. So if you're as an employer who looks at the holistic picture, you want your staff to be very productive. You also want them to be in wellness. Then you must get someone who understands these 2 arenas to create everything from a schedule to even the meals that you feed the employees in the office. Even the workspace. Are your employees sitting down for 4, 6, 8 hours a day? Or are they getting up intermittently to walk around? Do you have ergonomic chairs in the office? Do you have tables that have the height adjusters in the office? Do you keep track of your employees going to the gym, doing fitness activity? Because if you don't, they'll be the ones who give you quite a bit of a health scare and a health bill subsequently. There's a quotation I'll quickly recite. It goes like this. There is always a price to pay. There is always a price to pay for health and wellness.
Albert.
You either choose wellness behavior, healthier choices, or you pay the price when the disease shows up or the ailment worsens. There's always a price to pay. Either pay it upfront or pay it on the other side, whether you're the employer or the employee.
When you said there's always a price to pay, it took me back to our last conversation. So one of the statements you made really spoke, or really gave a lot of questioning. People were like, the Nigerian comment and a lot of people commenting, I will never die. The statement of, parents are beginning to bury, the statement is, parents would bury their kids earlier on than children. So can you bring that back? What was the reason behind you saying that statement, and how do you think this is something we should also pay attention to that will be, that'll be very helpful beyond just organizations, beyond businesses, but as a human being, you can look at it from that perspective.
Okay.
Barack Obama's wife, in a documentary, made the same statement, that this is the first generation of parents who will bury their children in significant numbers. It doesn't hurt with someone around her. On that version of this is, let's bring it home. Everyone, look at your family. Everyone watching this documentary, this video, look at your family. How old did great-grandma get? How old did grandma reach? How old did your parents reach? How old are your siblings getting to? I'll answer it personally. My great-grandmother, to our best of calculation, got clocked 120. My grandmother clocked 90. My father almost clocked 80. My father's youngest brother did not get near 80. In fact, none of his brothers clocked 80. I hope that hits the question very close to home. We are dying younger than our ancestors. Yes, some families are already burying their children, which is totally un-African. The question becomes, why? What should be in all this? Why are we dying younger and younger? That's the wellness concept to understand.
So now we can't really take away what they call it, the whole aspect of death and wellness, because the question people might be asking or might be answering is, we have to wake up every day and pay the bills. We have bills to pay every day, so probably need to get on board to fix this or fix that, and we subconsciously just forget that just waking up and spending that 10 minutes is enough time to heal. Just take some breath, just breathe in, breathe out, or take a walk, or do something meaningful other than just maybe going into your phone, right? So do you think this is something that for organizations, this is something that organizations are really really looking at in terms of how Gen Zs are really engaging with workplace? What is this thing that you're really heard from companies that are really affecting them in terms of Gen Zs? Because they are the ones changing the momentum, they're the ones changing the narrative in offices. They're the ones telling people, no, we don't have to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. anymore. If I'm working from 9 a.m., it should either be 3 times in a day, So how is this narrative helping in such a way that it can really make sense for everyone?
I appreciate this question and the perspective you've come from. There's always room for creativity, whether it comes to the Gen Z, the Gen Y, or the Gen X. Any employer who truly wants the staff to be very productive, at the same time enjoy their work, have time for their family, that employer needs to sit down and allow some out-of-the-box models to be put into the workspace. Talk about the 9 to 5. We've actually advised some employers to allow some staff to come in 7 to 3 and leave before the traffic builds up. Many employers already have buses for their employees.
Still not enough.
Still not enough. Provide more, make them more comfortable. Provide meals that upgrade our wellness, not meals that knock down the client's immune system and gradually deplete the client of their micronutrients. The workspace. Those who can be structured to work from home, design your home workspace to be a wellness-oriented workspace. From employers, through our organization, for instance, design what we call wellness plans and key into their employees participating into the wellness plans and even create some kind of modeling or incentive program for such employees.
The one you can share with us now with wellness plans.
Okay, for instance, you mentioned meditation. It's part of the routine in the office. Every hour, pause from your desk, take a walk for 5 minutes. Water, whether it's a clay pot or it's a conventional plastic dispenser within reach. Getting for your employees stainless steel water bottles instead of the soft plastic bottles. Having a space, a quiet space in the office where employees can just go and take a break, meditate. A quiet room, a hidden haven.
Will they still be on their phone?
And then, of course, you put requirements through HR. When you go into that space, for instance, the phones are checked outside or at your desk or with HR. Those who do the walking around every hour or so. We advise to do it without your phones. We've taught quite a number of folks to amplify or to multiply what we call the digital free zone. So it's bedtime at night, nothing electronic in the bedroom.
But the employer is not going to be with the employee after work. How are they going to realize that maybe they're not keeping to this process?
In wellness, it's a core responsibility. The employer will do what they can to encourage wellness, whether it's incentives, whether it's programs, or bringing in folks to have talks. At the same time, you, the employee, are also responsible. If you're a father or you're a mother, you have a responsibility to your children to set the example right. If you're the leader in a church, you're a pastor also, you have a responsibility or you have a calling to your community, according to your pastoral community, to teach them and impart this knowledge with them. It's a core responsibility. The employer does his part, the employee must do their part. And you can encourage, incentives to encourage this behavior.
Do you think if this thing, do you think okay, so do you think if all of this is being put to place, that what do you call it, there will be a very good synergy between your managers or leaders and the team workforce in terms of maybe these programs or combination?
It will add to hopefully already existing synergy. If a workspace does have synergy, it has this synergy or this synergy, it has clash, it has turbulence. That alone knocks down the other efforts you may bring in to create wellness. So the workspace dynamics is important to have employees who don't walk around high on cortisol, high on stress hormones, walk around loving what they're doing, low on their stress hormones, just awash with happiness hormones, serotonin, dopamine, enjoying the work they do. And in fact, that kind of environment creates higher creativity, higher productivity, and lower employee health-related costs.
So today, I think I'm also going to say that it's very, very important we have to, because I think I am also picking up stuff from here, understanding that it's like, when we spoke about grounding, when we shared about grounding, yeah, because, having to take a work, just randomly, just take out your shoes and just enjoy nature. Like we were on our trip coming to this very interview, we had one of the drivers who was just sharing his own personal perspective in terms of like health check. We're just asking curious questions, myself and the producer, curious questions like, when was the last time you checked your vitals? Like, when was the last time you just did a random checkup for yourself, maybe just to know? But how important is it for us to always check up on our checkup on our vitals, whether we're sick or not?
Two powerful questions. Whether you are sick or not, go for the regular check. We are tired of the sickness industry, where you wait till you're sick before you go for healthcare. No.
Like that's an industry.
It is. We rather you be proactive. You are given a gift of wellness. Let's maintain it. Let's help you maintain that wellness. So do the annual checks. And many corporate entities provide these facilities, whether it's through an HMO, through corporate plans, or other avenues. Definitely the annual check. Definitely follow up with the assigned care structure, HMO, corporate or plans, or individuals. In that journey, highly recommend you connect with a nutritionist or with a wellness team that understands nutrition, that understands the mind body, understands lifestyle, thus to give you advice to augment the structures the corporate entity has put in place for your wellness.
So, for the benefit of those who will be listening to this conversation, what's one thing you think of? What's that thing you would like to say to employees or employers or managers or leaders right, in the year 2026 and beyond, because I see a lot of health and wellness really at the peak, right, peak of its event. I think this is the most time when Nigerians are actually coming back home. So what's something you like to see to most employers or most leaders to be fully aware of for the year and for the year to come?
God in His wisdom, Mother Nature in her abundance, have a system that already works for us. Reconnect with this system. Put things in place where you have time for nature. The further you stray away from this awesome design, the sicker we are, the earlier we exit. I think that's really the takeaway. Reconnect with nature. And those who truly understand how to reconnect with nature. That's our wellness, that's our gift. I think it's that simple. Maybe it seems far-fetched because of how we've been socialized today. But truly, you have to be deliberate. Take time away, go to the green spaces. If you're in Lagos, go to Epe, go to Badagry, and travel to Ikogosi. I just had a colleague who came up from Ikogosi recently. Go to Casa de Papa, Cotonou, go to Ghana, there's so many places that have tons of greens. Zanzibar, Uganda, Kenya, Gambia. You can't afford to go that far. We have towns around Nigeria that have beautiful waterfalls. Just reconnect with nature. If you have enough greenery, you have land, go gardening. Get the hands back into the soil. Let your meals be dominantly from Mother Nature, not from the factory. Dominantly from Mother Nature.
Thank you for that. While you were just giving up that conversation, I just want us to just strike a chord on something which is very important, because this is going to really help for the future generations, right? While I was sharing with the producer talking about a natural first aid. Natural first aid, I think you shared this the last time we visited, referencing the snake bite, right? Which was trending. So I want us to also just share input in terms of some of this natural first aid we can actually get back on ourselves. Like, even like I was sharing with you like bitter leaf, where you apply bitter leaf in your wound and it easily goes off. And so Peter, I know you were very familiar with some of this natural first aid, and I think it will be very good for us to enjoy some of these benefits too.
We'll talk about some of the topical ones and some of the ones you can ingest. The first aid is to optimize your immune system. Stop putting the things that weaken the immune system. Number one on that list is sugar. Number two is sugar. What's number three? Sugar. Take that out. It's a lift on your immune system, even your immune cells. Sugar just hogs on, puts the brake on your immune system. Number two, foods that also weaken the immune system, clear them out. White rice. A lot of our wheat products are also culprits. Then bring in the things that augment the immune system, and they're abundant around us. From the bitter leaf, let it be a bit bitter now. Don't overwash the bitter leaf. Ugu, spinach. Fruits are in season. Right now, agbalumo is in season. Lord have mercy. If you're a man, 10 agbalumo every day. Your wife will appreciate that advice. If you're a woman, do at least 5 every day. Yes, whether they're sweet or bitter, do 5. Men do 10. We have other fruits in season that we don't give the due respect. Some of them are abundant, from the pineapple, coconuts.
I think you're for the green and agbalumo
Challenge.
Yeah. So there's currently a challenge which can also hop on board and learn more about how to help yourself.
Topically, there's quite a variety. Red palm oil. Take it once in a while. Maybe mix it with some ori shea butter and apply it on your skin. Gives you one of the richest sources of vitamin A, vitamin E, and many other micronutrients. If you're going out at night in shorts, you want to avoid mosquito bites. Apply red palm oil or crush some onions. Get the liquid, rub it on your skin. You'll be amazed. The mosquitoes will not find you, or they will find him. They're not going to find you.
He died in Lagos.
Okay. We have a ton of other things you can apply to the skin that augment us, and we are blessed, from the coconut oil to the avocado oil. So, guys, even mango. After eating your mango, you have the juice on your hand. Don't wash your hand. It's full of nutrients for the skin. Rub it on your skin, Joe. Let it seep in. Better than the chemicals you buy in the pharmacy for your skin that they give all kinds of fancy brand names. There's so much. I was at a program with a pharmacologist from University of Lagos, and she reeled over almost 50 plus herbs that are prophylactic or therapeutic against malaria. So you want to prevent malaria? You can drink some bitter leaf. You mix it with purple leaf. And if you don't like that, there are teas on the market already. There is lemongrass. There's dongoyaro. Small oil mixed with ori, rub on your skin. The teas are available in tea bags or the tea leaf, dry tea leaves. We are an abundantly blessed people. Abundantly blessed people. It's for us to just reconnect with what God has given us naturally, utopically and inwardly. Regarding the issue of the snake bites, many years ago I was privileged to go spend time at the monastery in Edo State. And I was taught by the monks what the elders in the village had taught them about charcoal and something called the black stone. Hunters, if by chance they were bitten by a snake, they would always carry the black stone with them. And they knew what to do to apply it and seal the area. And interestingly, by the time the black stone absorbs the venom and other toxins, you can see the black stone has changed its composition. Also, the ingestion of charcoal. People find all kinds of toxins in the bloodstream, in the gut, into the gut. Behind all of that is the strength of your immune system. So please, avoid or minimize the things that undermine your immune system. I mentioned sugar 3 times. That's not a joke, seriously. Put in the things that augment and elevate the immune system. Nature has abundant things that do so. Parents to the children. Go get the ancestral knowledge. There are books, volumes of all this knowledge already documented by our universities, researched by our universities. This is not hearsay. I have the books here. Go to NNMDA and get the books, volumes of books all over the country. Compiled research by our pioneer researchers on our herbs and their efficacy, a wide range of ailments. Let me end by saying this. Truly, you're Nigerian, you're African, you're born where God has given so much abundance. A little business being ill. Image of sickness wasn't our portion. Image of sickness was not our portion. Get back to nature. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patrick, for sharing that insight with us. And it's always good, like I always say, it's always good to always have you as a guest or always feature you on the show because it always gives that difference, right? And to most importantly, really, educate the audience because it's not really about chasing the grind, chasing the millions, chasing the billions, but it is also sustaining the health enough to be as long as whatever we're chasing because at the end of the day, we'll always achieve our goals. But how about your health? Will it be at the cost of when you finally get there, or will it be while you're still trying to get there? And this conversation today majorly was just to touch in some of those points and give us those thinkers, those conversations to always go back again and ask ourselves, how are we approaching our work and how are we also approaching our health? Is it for today or is it for tomorrow? Are we hoping to pay the price today or hoping to pay the ultimate price tomorrow? But I'll leave that question to you to respond. But I also say thank you very much for tuning into an hour with the manager, and I hope that this discussion so far will be very exciting and will continue to inspire as many people as possible. Until next time, I'm Kubo Matthew, your host, and bye. Thank you very much for coming.
Going back in the bed, jumping on the stage, you know what I was just a gamble.